automotive manufacturers still struggling. Like this chip mayhem has gone nowhere, and it's only getting worse.
Yeah, it's. Obviously, we didn't have it on the notes. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and we won't mention names or brands. It's just a brand that I love, so not hard to work out. But they're not receiving a delivery of new cars here until February.
Yikes!
Yeah, this is being recorded on the 26th of October in 2021. They're not going to get anything until February 22. So we're talking 4 months of nothing. So,
I mean, the good side is this means automotive manufacturers can go and dig some of the cars out of the sand that they've got stored. How many they have, I don't know. But A, they're going to be dated already, and B, while they're going to still want to charge the finder's fee for that car because, hey, you want a new car and it's going to be hard to get one, and we can sell you this one from it's a year old, it's the last year's year model, but we want this year's year model prices because you can't get a car. It's going to create this very interesting dichotomy.
Yesterday was a real eye-opener for me. So we always get a lot of people wanting used cars inspected before they buy them. So we do at least one a day. At least one a day. At least. Sometimes it's crazy. Like yesterday we did 2. A message from a guy this morning who's already bought a Mini. And
you're saying, don't do it.
Yeah, no, he literally said to me, can you check my car? I've had a disaster. I've already bought it, but I need it checking.
Dude.
He sent me a picture of the one, like, that's a Mini. Had you asked me, I'd have told you not to buy one. But now you've already got it, we'll have to inspect it. But, so we do
He didn't realize you do the inspection before you buy the car?
No, he's had a problem with it. Spoke to a friend.
Yeah.
And his friend said, why didn't you ask me? I literally bought my car a month ago after Glenn inspected it. Yeah. This one that I referred him, I went out to a car lot and inspected it at the car lot, drove it around. And his friends now ended up in a mess with an overheating Mini with no airbags and all that sort of stuff. So,
yikes.
Everything's fixable. You don't need to panic. But when you spend money on a car.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were talking to a guy yesterday, and his car was in with us. He needs an AC evaporator. Pretty standard here.
Yep.
With the humidity and the condensation, and we've talked about how, if you can flick your AC off for 30 seconds before you turn the engine off and leave the fan blowing, then it helps to dry that out, so it can help reduce bacterial growth, but also corrosion that will cause the leaks. But it's too late for that now. It's already leaking. It's quite a big leak as well. So he wanted to get rid of the car. He'd had enough of spending money on it. It was a Golf R. I wished I had the money to buy it. Now, he wanted to sell it, but he'd already tried a year ago to trade it in at a showroom, and they told him his mileage was too high. It was 160 at the time.
And they wouldn't take a trade-in?
The mileage was too high, they couldn't sell it on. It's now done 180. They offered him money for it yesterday, because they've got no stock.
They're going, we'll fix it.
Desperate.
We can fix it, we can turn this around.
That same showroom, we'll give them a bit of a shout out. It's RMA Motors here in Dubai and DIP. Their target is not sales now. For the next few months, their target is purchasing. So they have a team of purchasers, which is double the number of team of sales execs. And they need to purchase cars because they're just bottlenecked. There's so few cars now. And prices are going so high.
Yeah.
And if there isn't a new one on the forecast, this is literally the time. If you've got, let's say you've got the money to go and buy a brand new car that's like something special, let's say a G-Wagon, or let's say Range Rover is probably a bad example because the new model's imminent, but probably even a Range Rover, if you had the money to go and buy one, you would then be able to sell it back to the dealer in a few months for profit, probably, because they need the models on the forecourt. So
imagine.
This is the time. But it just all came to a head. I had a conversation with a friend, as I say, certain manufacturers after sales, that they were getting no prep work, and one of their particularly popular, very well priced models at the minute, the 7-seat one, there's one left. One left. They had one left for sale, and that was it, and they weren't expecting.
And their storage, they got nothing in storage? Wow.
And this is why we got onto the conversation, because every other car on the road is one of those at the minute. Yeah. And I've spoken to Andrew about, he was thinking about taking a lease on one. They had one left for sale. So, you know, you look into it, and from the UK side of things, everything gets blamed on Brexit. and Europe in particular probably picked up on that one as well, but obviously COVID worldwide.
Yeah.
But this chip shortage is crazy. Like a friend of mine in Altair, who's the parts manager there, he was saying to me, we're struggling for parts. Like,
well, what's that got to do with chips? I mean, that's the thing. But they're not. But if they're not making
so factories
parts,
are closing.
So they're not making the extra parts that they can sell.
So factories are closing. So then the sort of second and third and fourth tier suppliers for car plants are saying, well, we're not going to stockpile a load of parts, not knowing when you're going to open again. So we'll stop. So we're not producing that window motor for you anymore because we don't know when you're going to stop. So, you know, Skoda, in September, they reported that they were going to shut plants for a week.
Yeah. Wolfsburg,
that's carried on. Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
I mean,
I read yesterday, they've made the least number of automobiles in history. Well, 1968 was the year they made this few.
So there was a big...
How is that possible?
Yeah, there was a big board meeting about productivity improvements that VW held it, and it made the news, not that it normally would, but it made the news because the CEO of VW and Elon Musk are very good friends.
Of course they are.
So he invited Elon Musk to do a virtual participation, and he spoke. So Elon Musk spoke to the Volkswagen Group board about how they can implement his strategies of increasing productivity. Volkswagen don't need that for their current setup, but what's going to happen is, reading between the lines, and this is conjecture from my side, I'm not saying I've been told this, but they're going to reduce their staff levels.
Right.
They've got no choice. And what they then need to know is, well, when we go from 120,000 people in Wolfsburg down to 60, how do we maintain productivity? So you've got a situation where, you know, Elon Musk is about to open up a huge plant in Germany, isn't he?
Yeah.
Huge plant to fund Europe, to feed his European market. The Model 3 Tesla was not just the best-selling EV in Europe, it's the best-selling car in Europe.
Can you imagine?
So he's got to feed that. But brands like Volkswagen, giants of the game, are needing to know, well, we can't afford to keep all these staff on because we're not able to make the amount of cars, but how do we keep a certain level of car production with less staff?
Yeah.
And this is the way, I'm afraid. This is the way, unless things change soon, I don't know. And then what do you do about, how do you get customers to go back to a showroom? What do you do? Oh, the chip shortage has ended. Come back and buy a car. No.
Well, you know, the thing is, you take someone like Skoda, you take someone like Volkswagen, look, it goes across every manufacturer.
Yeah.
So now they've ramped down, all of the on-time delivery has ramped down.
Yeah.
In order to ramp up, it's not just, well, you know, we've been closed for 3 months. It's going to take months to get the whole supply line back running. And I hate to say it, but if you're closed for 3 months, you got people who get out of the industry. And yeah, I used to be a welder, or yes, I used to be a delivery van driver, or yes, I used to work in the machine shop that's producing the casings for this motor. Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore because now I got another job working over here, and they say, well, hey, we're back in business. We need you back. It's like, yeah, too late.
You know, in the case of, to give an example for which, you know, could happen, somebody in the UK, for example, would say, oh, they're desperate for HGV drivers. I'll go and do that for a living.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go and drive a lorry. And then I was told on my first day as an apprentice, I'd worked here and there in the industry and I'd trained in the industry, but my first day on my proper job at VW, I was told, get out of the trade. That was my first day by the guy who'd been there 50 years. Get out of the trade.
Get out while you can.
And the problem is those that do don't go back.
That's exactly it.
Nobody goes back.
My brother's not back.
Brother's an example.
He's a
He
perfect
loves
example.
GM, he loves the product, everything.
Master mechanic. He 20 plus years working for GM.
And those that get out don't go back.
Yeah.
And I don't care whether that's workshop floor, factory floor, even board level, people don't go back.
Yeah.
So this is the frightening thing, because not only have we seen the issue in General Motors plant where you've got the staff wanting to say, hang on, well, I'm losing all my work here because you're starting to do EV production, not ICE production, and well, can't you just retrain me?
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago, those guys left. They're already not coming back. And now there's more cuts to make. They're not coming back. And you lose, the problem is you tend to lose the more experienced people.
Exactly.
And those guys are the ones that can train the young guys that come in, and the men and women that take over the spot of apprentice. They need an algorithm on a computer can't tell them how to do the job. There's certain things that you have to see and feel, and at the moment AI isn't there to replace that, and that would, the fact that it probably never would be is fair to say, I think. But
no, hold on. I just had a conversation with Jason Michaud from Stardust Industries. He's the guy you're going to want to talk to. He's also known as the disruptor and the mosquito. Is what he's known as in the industry is, oh, the mosquito's back.
The industry called him a mosquito.
Yeah, because he's just a pain everywhere, and you just can't get him out of your ear, and he just doesn't give up. He's just back. He's back. He's disrupting, but that's exactly what he's working on. Space guy who's working on haptics, so that you could literally do AI. And they're really working on a space hug is one of the things they're working on. But so that you could literally, they're working on a lunar rover for the moon where you can actually feel the surface of the moon.
Nice.
While you're sitting on Earth.
Like
So it's coming.
But you still need to feel. You still need a human to feel.
Well, yeah. So you need to have the person who's in there says, okay, let me show you exactly. So it's got a while to go. But you're right. We're losing the experience. We're losing people who are just now not going to go into the field. They might have been training for it and say, hey, I'm going to go into it. And there's going to be jobs. And now they're going, forget it. I'm not doing it. And
look, there's been a lot of stuff, like we said. We've mentioned Brexit. We've mentioned COVID. There's a lot of other stuff where, you cannot. There's a factory fire. The factories have caught fire in Japan and places where these things are produced. Raw materials aren't necessarily easy to find anymore. There's so many issues that we can't do anything about right now.
Yeah.
That
it's crazy. It's
a massive thing. That my friend in Altai was saying to me when they were having a restriction on parts that they'd spoken to people that were saying, look, buy yourself a spare mobile phone because they're going to struggle to make mobile phones soon. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Can you imagine?
But people believe it.
Yeah, get another mobile.
People believe it. So
get your computer now. You head down to Carrefour, get that computer because you know what? They're having chip issues.
Yeah.
And
So, how far you go with how bad it can get is left to the individual imagination because it's unprecedented times.
Yeah.
The fear is, how do you recover from it?
Well, and it doesn't seem to be it's not abating. It's just continuing. Like I said, I hadn't heard the news cycle of this for a while, and I'm thinking it's over. And no, it's getting worse. Okay. And now you're telling me that there's dealers who have no cars coming for 3 months.
Yeah.
On what planet have we ever heard of that happening?
We've mentioned and we've been quite clear in our, let's say, just unable to understand how they can have stockpiles of cars sat in the desert for storage and that they can't sell, that they don't push out there and try and sell. Well, now they've got to.
Now they're dusting them off and they're going through the store. They're going through their parts area at the dealers saying, okay, can we put some more trim on this? What can we add to it? We got to sell this thing.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to get through some stock.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
those are old cars though.
Are you going to a showroom wanting to buy the new model? Or are you going to a showroom paying a premium because you're accepting the one that was a year or two old?
Yeah.
Some great deals you would think to be had, but then they've got to still maintain certain income levels, so then they want to sell them at the main price.
Well, I'm thinking some of these showrooms, they used to have quite a few salespeople in there. Well, if you've got no cars coming in, you're just clearing what's in the lot. Yikes. I guess that's great if you're Auto Mall or someone like that, because suddenly
used car prices are through the roof,
and since you can't get a new car, well, maybe I will go look at the used car now.
Yeah, but Auto Mall rely on trade-in.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no trade-ins coming because they've got nothing to trade in for. Yeah, no, it's brutal.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's certainly from our point of view, it's time to really double down on the whole maintain your car properly and keep it for longer.
Yeah.
You know, like definitely. And you can have a conversation with Colin about it on the next We Will Fix It podcast. You know, they're in a position with their fleet where they think, you know, do we just maintain them for a bit longer than just keep swapping them out?
Yeah.
And I think economically it's much more sensible to maintain.
Yeah.
And accept that there will be at some point a catastrophic failure of an engine because they don't run forever. But that's once every so often.
Yeah.
Maintain. And that now for us is good. The only problem we have with it is steel goes up, oil goes up,
Yeah.
parts go up, availability goes down.
Yes.
So then all of a sudden...
You're like a doomsday machine
Well,
here.
yeah, but you know, we get great because people want to keep the cars because we've got no choice.
Yeah.
But then when they want to maintain it, we can't provide the service at the same rate because we've got increase on price of everything. So it's a genuine issue. One that's, you know, kind of linked to it all is shipping.
Oh yeah, that's a
travel.
whole, yeah.
They're desperate to get people back in the air, but their costs have gone through the roof, surely.
Yeah.
The cost down on numbers of staff is down.
Yeah.
But you want attractive fares to get people back in.
Yeah.
But prices of everything else have gone up. So
Well, we saw one the other day, just the same kind of thing. We'd say, it's the cheapest ticket I've ever seen to get to Europe. It was like 900 dirhams for two. But
on the back of a camel.
no, 900 dirhams for two. But then you had to add in all the other charges.
Yeah, and if you landed in the UK, there's like 4 million.
Well, that's what it is.
tax.
So by the time you're done, the 900 dirhams turned into 3,400 dirhams.
Yeah.
But you're looking at it going, well, yeah, now all these airports that haven't been making any money, they've got a huge area that has a huge number of people and it's built.
They had to maintain
That's,
regardless.
yeah, all the runways are working, all the electronics are working, everything is maintained, and they still got to pay for that.
Yeah.
And so, well, yeah, the fees go up. And the fees just get dumped onto you and me
Yeah.
into the ticket price.
Everything gets dumped onto it.
So, so suddenly it's just this vicious circle, and then yeah, you get somewhere. Oh yeah, you got to eat. Well, not as many places are open, and you still got to stay somewhere. Well, we lost our customer service people. I've heard that. It's every industry. I've heard that with hotels. Part of the problem that some of the hotels are facing is they're losing some of their front end workers because other industries who need people who can do customer service are paying them a premium to leave the hotel and come and work in sales and stuff.
In the UK, there was a situation during COVID where a lot of people, everything was doorstep delivery.
Yeah.
Went and took jobs with places like Uber, Deliveroo, Amazon, and they're like, I ain't going back.
Exactly.
I'm not flipping burgers. I'm not going to concierge. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm my own boss. I'm on the road.
Well, look, we're